Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the American Safeguard Insurance Studios. Your hosts, Matt McJunkins and Matt Wilcox, your source for Arkansas high school sports. You are now between the mats.
And welcome to Between the Mats. I am Matt McJunkins. Alongside me is my man, Matty Stats Wilcox. How you doing, Matt?
Man, I'm a little bit sad this week, John.
Come on. What's the matter?
Man, we're going into week 9 of football. Like,
dude,
I'm starting to get a little depressed.
Like, obviously, it's a little more special for you.
Yeah.
Being a dad of a senior.
Right.
But it's just flown by. Like, for me, not just being associated with doing the broadcast, which I love.
Right.
It's fun. And it's real fun when your team's good.
Sure.
But, like, I feel it too, man. I'm just like, this is going too quick.
Well, like you said, having a senior, you soak in every moment.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, last week I was driving home from Little Rock one day, and, like, I had my radio off, and I was just sitting there thinking, I was like, man, I've only got 3 games left.
And all the tears start coming.
Exactly. So anyway, but no, it's it's my favorite time of year. I love football season.
Me too.
But man, I just start getting a little bit depressed because it's almost over. Like, I can't believe it.
It is, and I will say how fortunate we are that for Cooper's senior year to be a good one.
Yes, absolutely.
Because it could, there's a lot of parents out there who are just trying to get through the year.
That's right.
Because they're just struggling.
That's right. All right, so we're going to start off this week with the Hogs, as we typically do. I will have to admit, straight out of the gate, I did not watch the ball.
Were you working?
I was actually watching a 6th grade Pee Wee game.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because Clint played Saturday, but we're 3rd grade, so we play at 9.
Right.
So we're always, even for these 11 o'clock games, we're always done just in time. Now, I have had to play some of it when we've been out of town.
Yeah.
Play some of the first quarter on the way home.
Right.
But I've at least got to watch most of it.
Yeah, so I didn't get to see any of it, so I'll just go through a little bit of the stats, and then I'm going to rely on you to
I'll paint the picture.
Paint the picture, baby. So the Hogs roll, big win, kind of as expected against a UAPB team. So looking at the stats, Arkansas had 25 first downs. Their third down efficiency was still terrible, 2 for 9 for third down. We had 504 total yards, 213 through the air, 291 on the ground. Had 9 penalties, which is still a lot.
Yeah.
76 yards, and lost 2 fumbles.
I can tell you this, just the eye test.
Yeah.
If you just watch this game, if I hadn't seen anything about either team, the first at least half, 2/3 of the first half, you go, well, that Treylon Burks is something else.
Really?
I mean, he's just a playmaker. Yeah. He's so good. We were sloppy at times on offense. But, and you see the Facebook heroes. We're terrible. We can't do this. We're playing UAPB. But you got to remember, number one, there is somebody on the other side of the ball.
That's right.
And number two, every one of those players that start on the other side of the ball were the best players in their high school.
And wanted to play for the Razorbacks.
That's right.
So they're playing as hard as they can.
Sure. So you're still playing an opponent, and we still scored 45 points and a half.
Right, yeah.
I mean.
Exactly. So KJ was 10 of 17 for 194 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. Malik Hornsby got some action, was 1 of 5 for 19 yards. And then rushing the ball, we ran the ball very well. Dominic Johnson led the way with 6 carries for 91 yards. And Treylon Burks had 2 carries for 56 yards and a touchdown. Rocket Sanders, 9 carries for 46. A.J. Green, 9 carries for 36. KJ had 3 totes for 33. Treylon Smith, 7 for 24.
Yeah, and again, watching that game, as I think most of us would agree so far this year, Rocket Sanders just seems to be.
He's going to be the guy.
Just a little bit ahead of the rest. Right. Now, you're talking about 3 other backs that are special.
Yeah.
But he's just extra special.
Yeah, gotcha. Treylon Burks, 4 catches, 89 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And then Davion Warren had 3 catches for 51. Ketron Jackson, a name we hadn't heard much this year, had 1 catch for 29. Blake Kern, 2 for 25. And Jaqueline Crawford, 1 catch for 19.
Who's number 84?
Is that not Henry?
No. No, he's not a tight end. He's a tall.
I'm not sure.
I can't remember his name. He dropped a couple of big ones.
Did he really?
Yes, and you could tell it ate him up. But Malik played a lot in the second half.
Did he?
And at one time, you talking about the third down efficiency. I got a little frustrated because it was fourth and I don't know 3, 4. He got the fastest kid probably on the team,
right?
And when he was a high school senior, the fastest kid in the country.
Yes.
And he throws the ball down the sideline like 40 yards.
Really?
On the fourth down, I'm like, that's not his thing. Now he looks good throwing the ball.
Yeah.
But gosh, go get the first down.
And that's one question I was going to ask you. You know, looking at his stats, 1 for 5.
Yeah.
It just didn't seem like he played a whole lot. But you say he played quite a bit.
Well, I don't know. I know he was in there pretty early in the third quarter.
Okay.
And I didn't keep up with a lot at the very end of the game.
Probably just handed it off.
Yeah, I was just more listening to it while it was on TV.
Sure.
Because it was over. I mean, we were playing literally kids that had never played.
Right.
Which was great.
Yeah, absolutely. That's how you build depth. I mean, that's why these games are important to me. I mean, you get to play some kids that don't typically get to play, and you might find a star in there.
That's right. And also, on the other side of that is Malik's running for his life a little more because you don't have your first string in.
Right.
I will say, not to down our players at all, but there was one play in particular that this defensive lineman from UAPB absolutely manhandled our guard.
Really?
Like, he come off the ball and grabbed him and just threw him. It's like what I tell my Pee Wee players to do.
Right.
This kid actually did it. Like, he grabs him with his hands and throws him down on the ground and then goes after the quarterback.
Wow.
Like, it was like, whoa.
Well, I'm going to say our guard does not want to watch that play on film.
No, he doesn't want to see that one. And it happens to everybody.
Sure. So the Hogs are off this week. Take this week to get healed up, rested up, get everything clicking on all cylinders for Mississippi State the following week.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We get to heal a little bit more.
Yeah.
So we don't play Bama then.
We play Mississippi State, then LSU, then Bama.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You know, last week we were like, well, it must be Bama.
Right.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
You know, watching that, you know, LSU played really well last weekend. Mm-hmm. And then this weekend, at the beginning of the game, if you I don't know if you see it.
When I turned it on, they were already down like 24-8.
Right. So me and Clint had turned it on, and right after the Arkansas game, it was like, dang, they scored. Oh, don't tell me LSU got better. No. I mean, I think they're playing better than they were.
Yeah.
But I think it's a testament, and a lot of people don't admit this, but Ole Miss is good.
Yes, they are.
Like, their offense is impressive.
Yes. And, you know, when I turned that game on, the first thing I saw was Coach O, and I was like, I thought they fired him.
They fired him after the season.
I bet he's putting a lot of effort in.
Right. Well, and I think it looks like he's having more fun.
Yeah.
It is, because it seems like the players are behind him, kind of rallied behind him.
Yeah.
And he's kind of like when they won last weekend, like the assistant coaches were all kind of hugging on him, and he's just kind of smiling like, yeah, we won, you know. I think it's maybe a situation where he's obviously it's not going his way, but he's maybe having a little more fun doing it.
Yeah, he's probably counting his dollar signs.
That's I guarantee you, and that's the deal. I don't think there's a lot of bad blood there because I think he knows it was going to happen.
Sure, and
they're letting him stay. Obviously, I mean, usually, you know, if you go to work at a bank and get fired, they have somebody escort you out.
That's right. All right, so on to UCA. UCA won on the road this past week, beat Lamar 49-38. Typically, you know, when we talk about UCA, we talk about their throwing numbers. Braylon Smith is a special quarterback for them, but they got it done on the ground this week. Braylon Smith was only 17 for 30 for 149 yards. Listen to this, Junk. Darius Hale had 22 carries for 253 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Wow.
Yeah. And then they weren't done there. Kylan James, which I'm pretty sure, isn't he from, I think he's a freshman from South Arkansas somewhere.
I'd have to look. I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure he is. Anyway, he had 11 carries for 112 yards and a touchdown.
Wow.
So UCA got it done there, and then they will be on the road again this week at Jacksonville State. Arkansas State lost a close one to Louisiana.
Well, they did. 1 point game.
28-27. Lane Hatcher played well, 16 for 31 for 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. So out of the 4 scores they had, he threw 3 of them. And so they go on the road again this week to South Alabama.
I want to say something that may not be appreciated by some people, but I'm going to guess most of our fans probably don't care. I kind of got into a little Twitter battle here a couple of weeks ago with some
now?
A-State fans.
Yeah.
Because I made the statement that I stand by that Butch Jones has really done a terrible job.
Yeah.
Brought people in, 52 transfers.
Yeah.
And really doing the opposite of how this program was built.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so I started getting some responses from some A-State fans, like in the bubble there, like the A-State bubble.
Right.
And like they're all for it. Like they were like they're glad Hatcher's on the bench.
Really?
And they're saying stuff like about this. Yeah, you want back the kid from Little Rock. And blah blah blah. They've kind of got it against Little Rock and Fayetteville, and anyway. So, and he talked about all the terrible things that Blake left them with, and this and that. Anyway, my response was, well, once again, I'm reminded of why us Hog fans root for the A-State from afar.
Right.
So that's where I stand.
All right, so we'll move on from there into our picks from last week. Junk had a pretty good week.
Come on, dude. You know what I put on top of mine? Stalemate. Whenever we were when I was playing football, especially in college, like when we'd go one-on-one, offensive lineman,
Right.
defensive lineman. It was like spring ball or early in the fall, and you're just battling.
Yeah.
And that was the term used. If you had two good guys, typically good guys, sometimes you get two bad guys, but equally just hitting and going at it, and nobody's going anywhere.
Right.
They call that's the stalemate.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, me and you hit a stalemate this week.
At least we were the good ones
I know,
this time.
but hey, dude, we are A students.
That's right, baby.
92%.
Hey, not only did we both make A's, but I don't think since we started doing the pick'ems we've ever had a tie, have we?
No, we haven't. And get this. I already told you this. So it's not a surprise. But
Yeah.
I thought about waiting until the show to tell you this, but I told Maddie right before the show. So we have a point system we use, and for every point difference from the actual score for our score is 0.01.
Yeah.
And if you lose, it's one whole point. So say you pick a team by 5 and they win by 20, you pick the right team, you got 0.15,
Yeah.
the difference. But if you picked a team by 5 and they get beat by 20, you get 1.25.
Right. So it's actually like golf. You want the lower score.
That's right. You want the lower score. So I see that we're both 23-25, and I'm like, I think I got him on the points, though. I got him on the points, right? So I tally up, and I go down the Excel spreadsheet, and I hit auto sum 6.93. I'm like, dang. Usually it's like a 9 or 10, you know?
right.
Of course, we're also 23-25.
Yeah.
That helps. That's at least 2 points you didn't get.
That's right.
So I go and I hit Maddie. I'm like, just be like 7. 6.92.
Golly.
You won by 1 point scored in a football game
That's
this week.
insane. And I told Junk when he was telling me this, we laughed about it last week during the podcast at how
yeah.
close we were on every pick.
Everyone. It was crazy because we'd pick the same score.
Yeah.
And we do not share notes.
No, we don't.
Because we're trying to win. We're trying to beat each other.
But you still got a four point lead on me.
They got the 4-point lead. We still got a few weeks.
Oh yeah. I'm playing for the drama.
Yeah. That's what happened last year. I led for just a little bit.
Right. All right, so we're going to get into our highlight players' performances of the week. For last week, we'll start in Lone Oak. We had quite a few here in Lone Oak. Mr. Braden Allen, the quarterback there at Lone Oak, was 8 for 10, 163 yards, 3 touchdowns, 7 carries for 72 yards and 2 touchdowns. Landon Jones had 5 catches for 116 yards, 2 touchdowns. Draylon Clay had 2 interceptions, and Aiden Roughton at Lone Oak had 2 fumble recoveries.
That defensive coach is happy.
I guarantee.
4 turnovers.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right, so over at Harrison, Logan Plumley, a name we're familiar with, the quarterback over there, he was 9 for 15, 230 yards and 1 touchdown, and a pretty big win over
It was a
Moulton.
very big win. I think we both thought that game would be pretty close.
I thought it'd be closer than it was.
Yeah. All right, Cooper Wilcox. I get to call his name again this week.
I try to make it to where you don't have to talk about him, but it never works out.
I know. 11 for 21 for 240 yards, and also had I think how many carries?
Oh, it was 10.
10
I
carries.
actually put one minus
10 carries for 75 yards and 1 touchdown. Carter McElhaney, one of his receivers there in Greenbrier, had 3 catches for 86 yards and a touchdown, and also had an electric 95-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. And then sophomore Eli Weaver of Greenbrier had 5 carries for 110 yards and 1 touchdown.
I do want to say one thing about McElhaney. Mm-hmm. In 2 plays, he had 169 yards.
That's insane.
He had a 95-yard kickoff, and then I had to do the math in my head, but it was like 80 yard something touchdown pass.
Yeah.
And I will say, so I do the broadcast for Greenbrier. So after the game every week, I send Matt the stats on Cooper.
Right. Yeah. No doubt.
All right, so it's me now.
Yep.
Hey, here's one we've talked about. It seems like every single week.
Hey, and I'm gonna tell you, this kid right here. I looked last week after he got our Player of the Week award. He's second, as far as I know. He's second in the state right now in rushing.
Is he?
That's before this week. So
I saw his mom. Looked like his mom on Twitter had retweeted when we had him play one of the players of the week.
Yeah.
You know, she'd retweeted. I love it when the parents see us on
absolutely.
Twitter and they respond, or that, you know. And one I've got to do today, a kid from Bigelow sent me a picture today.
Okay,
sent
cool.
it to us our Twitter.
Good.
So I'll post that tonight. But yeah, we love it when the parents. We've gotten some really good relationships with some parents.
Right.
You know, one of them I think about is Donovan Witten's
Yeah.
dad. I think it goes by Donnie.
Yeah.
But you know, some of these coaches too, that you know, they get behind us. They like the show. They appreciate that we. You know, all this is for us as a way for us to get exposure for these kids because we love it.
That's why we did
We
it.
want to do it.
Yeah.
And so we love it when you talk to us.
Yeah.
Like our
Respond.
stuff,
Yeah.
respond. We love it.
Absolutely.
All right. So anyway, we were talking about Daryl Kadich from Cedarville. 19 carries, 217 yards, 2 touchdowns, 4 catches for 113 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Wow, what a
he does
game.
it every single week.
What a game. In Benton, what a big win for the Benton Panthers this week over Greenwood. Strand Smith was 14 of 22 for 226 yards and a touchdown. Casey Johnson for the Panthers had 20 carries for 108 yards, 3 touchdowns. Cam Harris, a name we've said many times on here, 6 catches for 108 yards, 2 touchdowns. And Donovan Pearson, old Mineral Springs
Yeah.
blood. Donovan Pearson had 3 catches for 56 yards and 36-yard catch in the final drive on a 3rd and long to set up the game-winning touchdown.
So yesterday, I get a message. I look down. It's from Nicole.
Yeah.
And her sister Cynthia, his son is at PA, which I
Okay.
think I mentioned before.
Yeah.
Who's been in junior high, but this week moves up
Really?
to senior high. So now, and it's funny because I've been watching them talk back and forth because next year they're going to be in the same conference.
That's right.
Which we will too. So Cynthia posted something about playing, or no, she had posted about Donovan saying, "This is the last week I'm going to get to watch my nephew. Well, he's my heart. I love him, you
Yeah.
know." Because her son's now going to be playing on Friday nights.
Gotcha.
And then they said, I think Nicole commented something about, well, you know, it's going to be hard watching them. And then they laughed about the trash talk. And I come in behind them. I wrote, "We have to play both of y'all." And then I put like the sweat and emoji, you know.
Yeah, no doubt.
But she had messaged me Saturday and was like, just let you know, Donovan caught a pass on the final drive, on the 3rd and long to set up the scoring touchdown.
That's awesome.
And I love how excited she gets.
Yeah.
And their whole family does.
That's cool.
So anyway, yeah, he set up that final touchdown.
Awesome. So tell the other side of that game.
So yeah, Greenwood, a name that we're regularly hearing is Hunter Houston, the quarterback over there.
Yeah.
Oh, Triple H. He was 27 of 40 for 279 yards, 4 touchdowns, and then Luke Brewer had 10 catches for 104 yards and a touchdown.
Right, over at Shiloh Christian, they had another big game. One of our players of the week from last week, Mr. Eli Wisdom, was 12 of 17 for 291 yards, 4 touchdowns, all in the first half. Cooper Hutchinson had 4 catches for 121 yards, 2 touchdowns in the first half as well. And then Bodie Neal had 5 passes, 109 yards, 1 touchdown.
Man, they're just putting up numbers. And you know, it's funny, again, this week we don't have a number for Caden Henley, but you know he had a great game.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
He probably ran for 45, 50 yards and then had 12 tackles. And,
Yeah.
Ashdown, Caden Winfrey. Now, this right here is an impressive performance. 235 yards receiving with 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, that's awesome. Bryant, Arkansas, Mr. Carson Burnett, 15 of 19 for 293 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, and also carried the ball 5 times for 20 yards. And then Robert Hendricks and Bryant had 4 catches for 84 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Trying to find where I lost my place. There it is. Robert Hendricks. Okay, yeah. All right, so we're at Arkadelphia now. Yep. Alex Turley from Arkadelphia. So this is the only stat I had before, and then Coach Shucker, he just texted me and gave me Jay Sean and Donovan. So, Alex Turley from Arkadelphia, 75-yard fumble return for a touchdown. That's a huge score in a close game.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then Jay Sean Davis, who we talk about every week, I call him the human bowling ball. 18 carries, 83 yards, 1 touchdown, and he had 2 catches for 29 yards. And then Donovan Witten, right? Yeah, we are Witten. Yep, Arkadelphia. For some reason, I had Witt written down. I was like, that's not right. So Donovan Witten, 15 for 25, 160 yards, 1 touchdown, 15 carries, 60 yards, and a touchdown.
Very nice.
Big win for them.
Yeah, I saw where he took a visit down to La Tech. I think
I saw that. Yeah,
that's awesome. All right, Tyreek Jones from CrossFit he was 10 of 12 for 195 yards, 5 carries for 72 yards. A pretty efficient night for Mr. Tyreek.
Yes, it was. Charlie Pfizer at PA has had an awesome year. 25 for 38, 324 yards and 4 touchdowns. Joe Hyman at PA, 6 carries, 200 yards, 4 touchdowns.
That's just silly.
6 carries, I said that right,
yeah.
right? 200 yards.
Yeah.
Kenny Jordan at PA, 12 catches, 80 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jalen McKinney from PA, 7 catches, 112 yards, 1 touchdown. And I didn't, I'm sure he had lots of good snaps, my cousin, Trev Duke.
Absolutely.
So that's another cool thing about the Pearson boys. So Cynthia's son's moving up from junior high to senior. So he'll be playing with Trevor on the senior team for PA. Their mothers went to school together at Mineral Springs.
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
That is wild. So I guess I'm assuming that their junior high conference is over. Their season.
Yeah, I think I don't know if they may play this week.
Yeah.
But even if they play this week,
they're done.
They're still to be done before Friday night.
That's a cool thing that PA has always done.
We did it in Mill Springs.
All ninth graders after your last game go dress out with a high school.
Sure,
I love it.
I do
think
too.
It's great. All right, and at Little Rock Christian, Mr. Javian Dyer Jones had 14 carries for 89 yards. Eli Cooper had 10 catches for 183 and an 81-yard touchdown. Walker White, the quarterback at Little Rock Christian, 13 of 27, 210 yards, 1 touchdown, and 5 carries for 16 yards and a touchdown.
Appreciate Coach Cohu sending us the stats.
Yeah.
I couldn't find stats on them, and you'd forward them to me from Coach Cohu.
Yeah.
Hey, also, coaches, if you're hearing us, send us stats because we can't always find it.
Yes.
We'll have an example of that here in a little bit.
It's a huge help.
Ozark. Landon Wright from Ozark, 11 carries, 59 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 for 3 passing. That's efficient.
Yeah.
115 yards and a touchdown.
That's awesome. Nick Bell at Bentonville West had 3 touchdowns on the night.
Shamon Rester, huge night for Shamon. El Dorado, 13 for 18, 302 yards, 6 touchdowns, 6 carries, 109 yards rushing with a 72-yard touchdown rush.
So he was responsible for 7 TDs.
Yes, and you know what's the thing about him is every single week like that 13 for 18, he's always a fish. He doesn't have very many incompletions.
No.
R.J. Thomas at Otteray, 4 catches, 123 yards, 3 touchdowns. Jackie Washington, 7 catches, 103 yards, 1 touchdown. That's a name we seem to talk about a lot. And then Cameron Bibby from El Dorado, 3 catches, 80 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Mr. Riker Acebo from Jonesboro, 16 of 20 for 235 yards and 2 TDs and a big win over Searcy. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you got a couple more.
Marcavius Pickett from Jonesboro, 18 carries for 108 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Andre Reed, 8 tackles, 2 for a loss, and a pick 6. And then Kayvon Pointer, 5 catches for 105 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Big night at Jonesboro. Javion Turner from Star City, 4 carries, 69 yards, 3 touchdowns. Cole Branson, 7 carries, 97 yards, 2 touchdowns. Star City getting it done on the ground.
Yeah, absolutely. Over in Prescott, Karsten Poole, 15 of 23 for 390 yards and 5 passing touchdowns. What a game.
That is a game.
Ja'Kalon Zachary, 5 catches, 167 yards, 3 touchdowns, and then also Eric Grigsby had 5 catches for 152 yards and 2 touchdowns.
And then Omarion. You still got one more.
Omarion Dickens, 14 carries, 180 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Prescott had a lot of offense Friday night.
Apparently so.
Over at Whitehall, they had a big win Friday night. Matt Martinez, 12 for 15, 205 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's a great announced quarterback.
Yes,
Zaire Green, 20 carries, 118 yards, and Duran Kane, 18 carries, 111 yards.
Very nice. And Rivercrest, we got several here at Rivercrest that had good ball games. Mr. Mike Sharp was 11 of 15 for 127 yards, 3 touchdowns. Clay Burks, 3 tackles for loss, a 36-yard fumble return for a TD. Octavio Chirinos, I hope I didn't butcher that.
Yeah, that's a tough one, Chirinos.
Rivercrest had 9 tackles, 4 of them for a loss, and forced a fumble.
That's a defensive night.
Yes, sir. And then Michael Rayner from Rivercrest had 4 carries for 60 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Over at Harding Academy, Cade Smith. Is he a junior?
He's a junior.
Yeah, I thought so. Yep. He was 22 for 29, 329 yards and 4 touchdowns. Heck of a night.
Great ball game.
Andrew Miller, also impressive. 18 carries, 148 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Mr. Kobe Davis from Wynn had 9 carries for 126 yards and a touchdown, and Carl Washington 4 carries for 40 yards, a touchdown, and 1 catch for 40 yards.
Down in Howard County, Nashville, Trey Hopkins 17 carries, 153 yards, 2 touchdowns.
In Malvern had a big win Friday night, and we've got several on here to recognize. Mr. Genoa Harris, 20 carries for 225 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jalen Dupree, 20 carries for 155 yards and 4 touchdowns. Evan Myers, 8 for 8 for 197, 2 touchdowns. And Carter Martin, 7 catches for 197 yards and 2 touchdowns. They scored a lot that night.
They did. So here's a little extra stat that I think's pretty cool.
Okay.
I saw it on Twitter. It's over at Barton. This kid, and it didn't even say his name, but in week 2, while they were preparing for the game, this kid's father, found out his father passed away. And so he set a goal to make an extra point in honor of his father. And then Friday night, he accomplished that goal.
Wow.
And it was pretty cool seeing the pictures. And,
That's neat.
Yeah, it was special.
That's good stuff. Braden Jones, we're going to recognize Mr. Braden Jones from Bentonville West. Unfortunately, this kid...
Oh, I know. That's why I put him on here.
I know. He played peewee ball at Greenbrier and ended up moving out to Northwest Arkansas. But, man, he's turned into a special athlete. He's had 90 tackles on the year, 14 of them for a loss, 7 sacks, 2 kickoff returns for touchdowns, 93 and 99 yards on those. And this summer at Arkansas, he ran a 4.36 in the 40.
I would ask you, are you more happy for him or sad for us?
Sad for us.
Right. Hey, one thing I wanted to add, I forgot to. We're at 1 year.
Are we
Podcast.
really?
Yeah. You know how I know? Yesterday, I can get on there. I'm going to start trying to do some work, right?
Yeah.
I pull up Podbean, which we use to publish the podcast, and it's like your account. It says your account's expired. It's like, what? So I go in. So the card information was expired.
Gotcha.
And so when it went to renew on the credit card, it just shut us down.
I'll be darned.
So I had to go in and update the card.
I need to renew that.
We're back. It says you want to reactivate your account.
Yes,
Yeah, we
please.
might want to do that. So happy 1 year, Matt.
Oh, thank you, John. It seems like yesterday. All right, so that is all of our highlight performances from last week, and man, they had
a bunch
of them, and so we enjoy spotlighting those young men and their great performances. And so now we'll get on to our top 10s this week as we're bearing down here on the end of the regular season, coming into playoffs, and these games just get bigger, and the ramifications of the games get bigger. And so these last 2 weeks, you'll see some matchups that will determine not only seeding but also conference champions.
Yeah, we got a big one in Greenbrier.
Man, do we ever?
It's going to be awesome.
So you want to start with 2A?
Yeah, you bet.
I kind of stole your
You
thunder.
stole it last week. Stole my conference
I
from me.
did.
All right, 2A. In week 8, we had them in this order. Number 1, Bigelow. 2, McCrory. 3, Desark. 4, Fordyce. 5, Hazen. 6, Clarendon. 7, Quitman, which those in the middle there have all been kind of beating each other up.
Yeah.
And then 8, Garden. 9, Hector. And 10, Magnet Cove. A lot of teams off this week or didn't play because of COVID. I assume that's what it was. It was like it says 1-0.
Right.
The COVID rule this year, you have to forfeit.
I think that's the only thing it could have been.
I think so too, unless maybe they didn't have players.
Right.
But number 1, Bigelow, they beat Quitman 44-14. A good Quitman team that we like to follow.
Yes.
But we talked about last week. Bigelow's just really good.
They're just really good.
McCrory was off. They're at number 2. Des Arc, they beat Mark Tree, COVID. Fordyce beat Parker Chapel, COVID. Hazen beat England, COVID. All right, and then Clarendon beat Carlisle 49, and I want to say that's
49-8.
8.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, 49-8. Quitman, as we mentioned, lost to Bigelow. Garden lost to Poland 28-6. That's 2 in a row that the Go Devils have dropped.
Yeah.
Ector beat Johnson County Westside 44-6. Johnson County Westside who's put up some points this year.
Yeah.
And then Magnet Cove beat Bearden 48-6. So, not a lot changed, especially because a lot didn't play. But number 1, Bigelow, they'll be at Hector this week. Number 2, McCrory, they're off again. Number 3, Des Arc at England. Number 4, Fordyce at Hampton. Number 5, Hazen versus Carlisle at home. 6, Clarendon off. Then number 7, Hector plays Bigelow at home.
Yeah.
Big game there.
Big game. That'll determine the conference championship in that one.
Yeah, it will. And number 8, Magnet Cove, they're off. Number 9, Quitman plays home against Mountainburg. And number 10, Poen is off.
Looking up here at McCrory, they were off last week. They're off this week. How you feel about that? If you're a player, of course you want to play, but number one, you're getting healthy.
Yeah.
You're getting fresh legs. But there's also something to be said, staying in the rhythm of playing every week. So
yeah, I noticed there's a few teams that they've got a couple of weeks off,
right?
And I think it has to do with just the fact that the few amount of teams in the conferences. There's conferences in 2A with 4 teams,
right? Yeah,
that one with Garden, Mount Ida, Magnet Cove, and Poen. There's 4 teams in that conference, and they're all 4
good teams.
Good teams.
Yeah.
So sometimes I think they have problems finding people to play.
Yeah. I think the 2A this year really got hit hard, and a lot of them had to drop to 8-man football and things of that nature.
I think you're right.
All right, so 3A. Last week we had Prescott number 1, Boonville 2, Harding 3, McGee 4, Osceola 5, Paris 6, Charleston 7, Glenrose 8, Hoxie 9, and Centerpoint 10. Prescott continues to roll as they beat Bismarck 52-14. Boonville took care of Atkins 49-0. Harding beat a pretty good Melbourne team 40-16.
And that game started off like it might be a game for a little bit.
For just a little bit. McGee continues to roll down there. The Owls are very impressive this year on both sides of the football. 50-13 over Barton. Osceola with a big win over Walnut Ridge 50-6. Paris beat Perryville 31-6. Charleston beat Lincoln 51-14. Glenrose won at Centerpoint, which that puts Centerpoint as the 4 seed probably in that conference.
Yes. 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks and a day ago,
Yes.
2 days ago, they were on top of Prescott early to win that conference.
I think even up into the third quarter.
Yes. Like they were up like 2 or 3 scores.
Man.
And now they're at 4th.
I'm going to say whoever matches up against them as the 1 seed is not looking forward to it.
You're not.
And Hoxie with a big win. They stay undefeated on the season over Manila, a Manila team that was undefeated in conference.
We thought that could be a game.
And Hoxie rolled 49-6. And in Centerpoint, I don't have what Centerpoint.
They lost.
They lost.
Yeah.
Okay. And so Prescott stays at 1 this week. They're at Jessieville, which will be a good game. Jessieville's playing a lot better as of the last couple weeks.
They are. I think they got some. Didn't you say they got some players back?
Yeah, that's what I understand. Number 2, Boonville plays Paris at home. Harding is at Newport. McGee is at home against Dollarway. Osceola is going to Hoxie, so that's a heck of a ball game.
Big game. The Harding-Newport game is usually kind of the conference championship game, but Newport's a little down.
Yeah.
And Harding's still pretty powerful.
Yep, but I did see, doesn't Newport, they only have 1 loss in the conference.
They're not doing bad. Yeah, for sure.
All right, so Paris is at Boonville. That's another big game.
Big one. That's conference championship.
I was going to say both of those games, Osceola and Hoxie and Paris and Boonville will determine conference championship.
100%.
Charleston is at West Fork. Hoxie, Osceola, 9 Glenrose playing at home against Horatio, and then Jessieville at Prescott.
So that Jessieville made it up into the top 10.
Yep. Broke into the top 10.
So 4A, my other conference or other class that I'm a big fan of, which I'm a fan of all of them. Let's be honest. Shiloh Christian, they were number 1, have been for some time now. Joe T. Robinson, number 2. Warren was 3. 4 was Arkadelphia. 5 Stuttgart, 6 Crossett, 7 Ashdown, 8 Prairie Grove. 9 Rivercrest, and 10 Ozark. Shiloh beat Elkins 50-0. That was a game that some had picked to be close.
Yeah, not so much.
I did not pick it to be close. I didn't think it would be close. No. Number 2, Joe T. They beat Bauxite 56-12. Robinson's really rolling right now.
They are.
Number 3, Warren. Another one that's rolling. Beat Monticello 41-6. Arkadelphia. They beat an undefeated Ashdown team 33-27. Wasn't Ashdown undefeated?
Yes.
Yep. Yeah. Undefeated. It was not really a game till late.
Yeah.
You know, they were up pretty big, but hey, they pulled it off.
That's right.
You know, and I asked Coach Shucker. I told him great win. He said, well, it was a little sloppy. We'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So number 5, Stuttgart, they beat Mills 63-28. Crossit beat Hamburg 56-3. Which Stuttgart's playing some ball now. They struggled early.
Yeah.
Something went on there. I don't know what's going on.
It's a little strange, but
yeah, they're rolling now.
Yes.
Number 7, Ashdown. They lost, like I said, to Arkadelphia in a close one. Prairie Grove, number 8, beat Gentry, who we thought could be a good game, and it wasn't a bad game, but they beat them 49-21. Right. Rivercrest beat Gosnell 42-0. That Rivercrest team is scoring some points.
They're rolling.
Ozark beat Pottsville 35-14. So this week, going into week 9, Shiloh Christian, number 1, plays at Gravett. Number 2, Joe T. Robinson plays at Ashdown. Last year, Ashdown beat Robinson.
They did. Sure. I'm gonna say Robinson does not.
Let that happen.
I think they still remember that probably.
Thinking so. Yeah. Number 3, Warren goes to Hamburg. 4, Arkadelphia goes to Bauxite. A lot of away games for these teams. Mm-hmm. Number 5, Stuttgart goes to Lone Oak. Might be a game.
Could be
a game. Number 6, Cross that plays Helena West Helena at home. 7, Ashdown, as we mentioned, plays Robinson at home. Number 8, Prairie Grove. They go to Berryville. And then 9, Rivercrest goes to a Truman team that's not bad.
Right.
And then Ozark, number 10, they play Lamar at home. That could be a game because Lamar's been playing pretty good.
You know, you're looking at that Stuttgart and Lone Oak game. I'd have to look at the standings. I don't know that if Lone Oak beats Stuttgart, it assures them of the 1 seed because they have a loss in conference. But it's going to make some things interesting if they're able to pull off that win.
Now, who was it? Was it no, Southside didn't beat them? Who beat them?
Yes, Southside beat Lone Oak in overtime.
That's right. They beat. That's right.
Yeah.
Stuttgart has not lost.
No.
Right in conference.
No.
But Lone Oak's playing better right now.
They are.
You know that quarterback over there, Brayton Allen, he had a great game Friday night.
He's good, man.
All right, 5A.
All right, 5A. We had a little shake-up here in 5A. So last week we had Pulaski Academy 1, Whitehall 2, Camden Fairview 3, Greenbrier 4, Valonia 5, Little Rock Christian 6, Wynn 7, Maumelle 8, Nettleton 9, and Farmington 10. And so PA just continues to dominate and roll. They played their crosstown rival, Little Rock Christian, and just drummed them 63-14. Whitehall continues to play good defense. They beat Maumelle 45-12. Number 3, Camden Fairview was a little bit interesting ball game. Yeah. They beat Hope 42-27, but at half, wasn't it 21-all?
Maybe.
Or maybe 28-21.
I know, like, late in the game, it was 28-21.
Yeah. So that's a little bit of a head scratcher there.
It was.
Number 4, Whitehall. Number 4, Greenbrier. Played a Farmington team that coming into the game was 6-1, and Greenbrier just dominated, beat them 48-6.
Some people had them picked ahead of Greenbrier.
Yeah, and the rankings sure did. Valonia continues to dominate and roll. They beat Alma 56-20. Number 6, Little Rock Christian, as we talked about, got beat pretty bad by PA. Number 7, Wynn, looking like they're going to battle for the conference championship next week against Nettleton. They beat Perigold 51-0. Maumelle, like we said, lost to Whitehall 45-12. Nettleton continues their unbeaten streak. They beat Forest City 36-6, and then Farmington lost to Greenbrier 48-6. And so this week in 5A, PA stays number 1 as they play at home against BB this week.
BB with a huge win.
Huge win and an outside chance to get that 4 seed.
Did they really?
I think if I looked at it right, if they somehow could pull off the win against Whitehall next week, which is a big ask.
That's a big ask.
They will get the 4 seed. So they got 2 of the toughest games left on the schedule.
They just play a tough conference.
They do. Number 2, Whitehall. They're off this week as they only have I think 7 teams in the Central there.
I wondered why they were off.
Number 3, we moved Greenbrier, the Panthers, up to number 3 as they continue to impress. The defense, Junk, has played very, very good the last 3 ball games.
I mean, those games have all been a continuous clock in the second half.
Right.
I mean, Harrison was.
Yes.
Farmington was.
P. Ridge.
Yeah. It's just every week.
Right.
I mean, the scores look good, but I mean, sometimes I wonder if we couldn't score 60, 70 points.
Sure, absolutely. Move Valonia up to 4 as they continue their unbeaten season. They're at Morrilton this week. I don't expect them to have much of a contest over there, but going to Morrilton's always tough.
It
man.
is.
It's always
It
tough.
is, and this really sets up for a huge Week 10 matchup.
I don't even want to talk about it yet. And I forgot to say Greenbrier is at Alma this week. Number 5, Fairview, who's 8-1 on the season, 5-0 in conference. They're playing at home against Hot Springs. Number 6, Little Rock Christian is at home against Jacksonville. Number 7, Wynn is at Forest City. Number 8, Nettleton, who they will face Wynn next week for probably a conference championship.
Yeah, it's going to depend on this week, though.
But Nettleton's got a tough game this week at home against Valley View.
It's going to be a game.
Yeah. And then number 9, Maumelle. This one, me and Junk kind of went back and forth on whether to put Maumelle 9 or 10. Looking at their record, they're 3-6 and 2-3 in conference, which is not very impressive by any stretch. But when you go through their list, their schedule.
Well, you look at their 6 losses and look at everybody you would put up in that place,
Sure.
and I think all of them would have lost those 6 games.
Yeah, and so we got Maumelle at 9. They're at home against Watson Chapel, and then we kept Farmington in the top 10 at 10, and they are at home against P. Ridge.
So we got, that Magnolia team. I keep waiting for them to,
Right.
which we'll see them in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll be there, and so will Harrison.
Yep.
All right, 6A, Lake Hamilton, number 1 last week in Week 8. Number 2, Jonesboro, 3, El Dorado, 4, Benton, 5, Parkview, 6, Greenwood, 7, Russellville, 8, Sylvan Hills, 9, Marion, and 10, Searcy. So number 1, Lake Hamilton, they beat Van Buren 63-33. Number 2, Jonesboro beat Searcy 35-13. 3, El Dorado beat Sylvan 51-23. Benton, big game.
Man, what a win.
Win at the last.
It seems like I heard that they scored 2 touchdowns with 4.5 minutes left in the game.
Early. Greenwood was up pretty big early.
Yeah, because I looked at the score at halftime and I thought, I'm going to get one on Jump.
Yeah, because you picked Greenwood, I picked Benton. But yeah, they scored at the end there and won by 1 point, 41-40.
Broke my heart.
Yeah, it did. Parkview, number 5, they beat Russellville 48-7. Pretty big win right there.
Yeah.
Russellville's not a bad football team. Number 6, Greenwood, as we mentioned, lost. 7, Russellville, they lost. 8, Sylvan Hills, lost to El Dorado. 9, Marion, beat Pine Bluff 38-24. And then Searcy, as we mentioned, lost to Jonesboro. All right, so that gets us to Week 9. At the top, 8-0 Lake Hamilton. They'll play Benton this week. That's going to be a big one. Big and big.
4 conference championships.
Yep, that's right. Number 2, Jonesboro plays Sylvan Hills at home. Could be a good game there.
Yeah.
Number 3, El Dorado plays Searcy at home. Number 4, Benton goes to Lake Hamilton, as we mentioned. 5, Parkview goes to Siloam Springs. Number 6, Greenwood plays Van Buren at home. Number 7, Sylvan Hills, they go to Jonesboro. Number 8, Russellville plays Mountain Home at home. That one's one I had trouble picking.
Yeah.
That's going to be a good one. Marion plays Sheridan, and then 10, Searcy at El Dorado.
Awesome. All right, which will bring us into our top classification in the state. 7A, last week we had Bryant number 1, Conway 2, North Little Rock 3, Fayetteville 4, Bentonville 5, Northside 6, Cabot 7, Rogers 8, Bentonville West 9, and Springdale Harbor 10. And not a whole lot changed this week. We did have a little bit of shake up there in the middle, but Bryant, they continue to be impressive as they beat Cabot, the Panthers 45-20. They are at home against North Little Rock, which will be interesting to see the outcome of that ball game, Junk. North Little Rock has had a good year, but just seems like they're not quite there yet. But
they're right there.
They're right there.
And I think they're pretty good defensively.
Yeah.
So it could be interesting.
That's right. Number 2, Conway beat Central, took care of business there, 55-12. They're at Catholic this week. North Little Rock at number 3. They beat Northside in a close contest, 28-21. And Northside team is very scrappy and plays solid defense, but North Little Rock able to pull out that win, and they're at Bryant. Number 4, Fayetteville. They beat Springdale 49-21. They've got another should be pretty easy game for them this week at Heritage, which is struggling a little bit. Number 5, Northside. We got Northside at 5 just because they've played some really good teams above them, some really close contests.
They lost to Conway by 2.
Yep.
They lost to North Little Rock by a touchdown.
Yep.
And they played that Bryant team close early.
That's right.
It was like an 18-point game ended up.
Yeah.
It was close early.
Absolutely.
So this Northside team's impressive.
They are. They're 5-3 on the season, but don't let that fool you. They play some good ball. They lost to North Little Rock 28-21, and they play Cabot this week. So we'll see how that one turns out. Number 6, Bentonville in a close win over Rogers.
Kind of a shocker.
Yeah, 56-49. They're playing at home against Springdale this week. Number 7, Cabot at Northside. Rogers, number 8, which I think they've been there pretty much the majority of the year.
They have.
But they just can't get that signature win, but they almost got it last week.
Well, they're kind of the cream of the crop in that everybody else.
Right. That's right. Number 9, Bentonville West beat Heritage 55-7. They're at Southside this week. And then number 10, Harbor won at Southside 49-28, and they play Rogers this week.
I will say this about North Little Rock. Coming into the year, a lot of people expect them to be really down. Mm-hmm. They lost Kareem Cotton,
right,
and then they got their coach left, got a coach, Randy Senefer, which we're big fans of.
Sure.
He's been there for 107 years. But, he told us this summer, he said, we're not going to try to reinvent the wheel. He said, we're just going to pound the ball.
Yeah.
And play defense, and that's what they've done.
That's what they've done. And I thought that North Little Rock, I thought that Northside might get them last week.
I did too. I thought it was possible,
but they just couldn't get it done.
Right. But I think that says more about Northside than it does North Little Rock.
Yeah, and so I just realized when I looked down here that I have not picked my games yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to go off the fly, and maybe I'll pick better that way.
Well,
because I actually study these things and pick most of the times, and I haven't been doing very good.
Oh my gosh, I didn't finish mine.
This is going to be great.
Me. Oh my gosh, I picked half of mine.
All right, so number 1 in our pick'ems this week, we got North Little Rock at Bryant. I'm going Bryant by 13.
I got Bryant by 20.
Okay. Cabot at Northside. Man, I have gone back and forth with this one. I'm going to go with the home team in a close one. I'm going Northside by 3.
I got Northside by 6.
Okay. Rogers, who played Bentonville to a very close ball game last week. From what I understand, Bentonville kind of maybe took a little bit of luck in winning that one there at the end, but Rogers is at Harbor. I'm going to take Rogers in this one by 10.
I got Rogers by 12.
Okay. Southwest, number 4, Southwest at Central. And this one, looking at it on paper doesn't look like a very sexy pick, very sexy ball game, but it should be a close ball game. And so I'm going to go with Southwest in this one by 4.
I'm going with Southwest by 2.
Nice. Sylvan Hills at Jonesboro. I'm going with Jonesboro by 17.
I went Jonesboro 14.
Okay. West Memphis at Pine Bluff. I'm going Pine Bluff by 8.
I got Pine Bluff by 3.
Okay. Mountain Home at Russellville. I'm going to go with Mountain Home in this one by 1.
I went Russellville by 3.
Ooh, his first one we picked different. All right. So this one here for a conference championship. Benton at Lake Hamilton. Benton playing some great ball as of late. Lake Hamilton has just continued to roll as they have all season. I'm going to say Lake Hamilton handles the line of scrimmage and deflates the ball a little bit and slows down Benton. I've got Lake Hamilton by 6.
I've got Benton by 2.
Ooh, I love it. Love it. Valley View at Nettleton. This one, Nettleton is looking forward to next week's game against Wynn. I don't think that it's going to slip up on them that Valley View's a good football team.
Sure.
And I'm going to go Nettleton by 7.
So I went back and forth on this one, and kind of looked at how they matched up with other teams in the conference,
Right.
and it seems like Nettleton just had a little bit more in the spread of the points.
Sure.
So I went with Nettleton by 6.
Okay. Hope at Texarkana. Here's another one of those matchups that neither team has had great years, but always looking to get a victory in these type of ball games. I'm going to go with Texarkana in this one by 3.
I, my friend, am going with Hope by 5.
Are you?
Yes.
All right. Gentry at Elkins. This should be a good ball game here.
This was a tough one for
I'm going
me.
to go with the Elks by 7.
I went with Gentry by 3. We're going to have some. So there's going to be a change in
There's gonna be a change.
the spread. It's
Yes.
either going to be close or not.
It's either going to be close or I'm done for the year.
Right.
All right. Stuttgart at Lone Oak. Stuttgart going on the road to play the Jackrabbits. I'm going to go with Stuttgart in this one by 6.
I went with Stuttgart. I think. Where am I at?
Number 12.
Oh, I missed that one. Hold on. I skipped that one. So I'm going with Stuttgart by 3. What'd you pick?
6.
Okay, yep.
Number 13, Lamar at Ozark. I'm going Ozark by 12.
Ozark by 3.
Okay.
That could be a game.
Yeah, I agree. Robinson at Ashdown. Robinson still remember the loss they took last year to Ashdown. Ashdown coming off a tough loss against Arkadelphia, but I'm going Robinson in this one by 13.
I went with Robinson by 10.
Okay. Number 15, Nashville at Malvern. You know, Malvern is played well last week.
Yeah.
Put it on a Fountain Lake team that we thought would be a good ball game.
A Fountain Lake team that beat Nashville pretty bad.
Right. And so I'm going to go Malvern here by 8.
This one was hard for me.
Sure. It's because it's Nashville.
Right, because you look at it and you're like, well, 40 plus 40 is 80, but Nashville also did this.
Right.
They slipped up on this team.
It's just hard to believe that Nashville's not the Nashville we're used to.
Well, and they're not supposed to be.
No.
And so we look at that, but then in games they still win sometimes.
That's right.
So I'm going Malvern 8, but
Okay.
don't be shocked if it's not an upset.
Sure. Harding Academy traveling to Newport. Newport team that's only have one loss in conference. This is their Super Bowl this year. That if they could somehow knock off Harding Academy, that would assure them of a conference championship. But I'm going with the Wildcats in this one by 17.
I picked the Wildcats by 20.
Okay. Perryville at Baptist Prep. This game has big playoff seeding implications. I'm going to go with Perryville on the road by 3.
I'm going with Baptist Prep by 1.
I knew you were. Number 18, Osceola at Hoxie. Man, this will be a ball game here. I would love to watch this one,
I would
actually.
too.
I'm going to go with Hoxie.
Oh!
I'm going to go with Hoxie by 2.
I picked Hoxie by 5.
Did you?
I didn't think there's any way you'd pick Hoxie.
All right, number 19, Paris at Boonville. Boonville by 13.
There's another one I missed. I guess I'm writing too big.
Hey, welcome to my world.
Golly. Paris at Boonville. Boonville by 17. What'd you pick them by?
13. It's kind of fun picking on the fly.
It is.
Prescott at Jessieville. I think this one's going to surprise some people. I think this is going to be a lot closer ball game than some may think. But in the end, I'm going Curly Wolves by 6.
I went with Prescott by 16, but I agree. This could be a game.
Yep. Rising at Camden Harmony Grove. Man, this will be a good ball game here. I'm going to go with the Wildcats in this one as well by 3.
I went with Rising by 7.
Gurdon at Mount Ida. You know, Gurdon struggling, coming off 2 consecutive losses. Mount Ida had a big win 2 weeks ago over, who was it, John?
Owen.
Was it Poland?
I think so.
Yeah. I'm going to go with the Go Devils in this one. I think they kind of get it turned around, and I'm going to go with them by 10.
I picked Mount Ida by 4.
Did you really?
You know, the Gurdon dropping 2 and then
I know.
and a pretty bad loss to Poen,
Yeah.
who lost to Mount Ida. But, you know, Desert beat Mount Ida by like 50. I don't know.
It's crazy. All right, number 23. Now, you may have to correct me on a couple of these games because I know we switched them out, but I got Bigelow at Hector.
Yep.
Is that right?
Yep, you're good.
All right, so Bigelow at Hector. This is for a conference championship there in 2A. I'm going with the Bigelow Panthers in this one by 16.
Bigelow by 30.
Whoa, big win.
Well, here's the deal. I looked at the difference between Hector and the teams they played and Quitman and the teams they played, and Quitman's actually beat the teams worse than Hector did.
Is that right?
And then you look,
They beat them by 30. Yeah, that's right. All right, so Carlisle at Hazen. This is how far is Carlisle from Hazen?
Yeah, like across the river.
Right down the
Yes.
street. So this is a big-time rivalry here of years past. I'm going to go with Hazen in this one by 13.
I went with Hazen by 14.
Okay, and then the last one,
Greene County Tech at Batesville.
GCT at Batesville.
Yep.
And this one is probably for that 4th seed in the East, the 5A East. Batesville is having a little bit of a down year, but they have a lot of tradition over there, and they know that they want to play in the playoffs. They always feel like they've got a chance. But I'm going to go with Greene County Tech.
Oh,
I'm going Greene County Tech by 13.
You're gonna regret that.
Am I?
Yeah.
Wow.
You are. Batesville by 7.
Wow. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 picks different.
Yes.
And I'm down by 4. So I could be down double digits going into next week.
So Greene County Tech lost to Brooklyn 17-14. Mm-hmm. Batesville
beat Brooklyn
21-7.
Yeah. And
that was my decision maker.
And it's at Batesville.
Yeah, but you're going strong with the GCTs.
I'm just going by what
sounds like a shot you take. Get the GCT.
I'm just going by what I saw the eye test when we played Batesville.
I think they got to be different. You saw what they did with Cersei after that.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe
I
maybe Greenberg's just better than we think they are.
Every week I ask that. I seriously every week I'm like, it's like we're scared to say that they're good.
Yeah, we are. We just got to take care of the Airedales this week, and then it'll bring up that big Week 10 matchup in Faulkner County.
Oh, Eagle meat.
That's right. All right, brother. You got anything else?
We do. Players of the week.
Oh, how did we forget that?
We didn't.
It's probably about the same way I forgot to make my picks.
I'm going to embarrass you a little bit. I'm going to tell on Clint.
Oh, you got to. It's great.
Friday night. What was it we were talking about that he said it?
Oh, you was talking about the tailgate.
Oh, yeah. I told Clint, I said, the tailgate tonight at Greenbrier is going to be done by First Security Bank. I said, they're going to have the Teal Grill out there. I said, you know who's going to be out there? He said, Matty L. I said, Matty L? He said, yeah, because he takes massive L's on the podcast.
Just burned,
He
man.
did. I said, dude, I'm straight up telling Matty what you said about him.
And so when they get there, I look, Clint's hiding behind a tree.
I'm like, you better come here and face him. That's good stuff. All right, players of the week. All right, so this first one is a mystery.
Yes, it is.
2A. So we went ahead and did this because we didn't want to leave this out because it's such a special deal.
Right.
But Matt saw and did not write it down or screenshot it.
Now, to my defense, it was early this morning as I was scrolling through my phone.
He's brushing his teeth.
I'm pretty sure I didn't dream about Dirk's football.
Yeah. I wouldn't think so.
But anyway.
So running back at Derek scored, he thinks 6 touchdowns and set a school record.
Yeah.
We cannot find the stats anywhere. I'm telling you, I can't find it. So we're going to try to get a hold of somebody from Derek's. To verify. I believe that's Coach Fannin. I believe that's right. If you listen to this show and you know, let us know this kid's name and what the stats were. So we're giving it to him for 2A, Player of the Week. 3A from Prescott, Karsten Poole, 15 for 23, 390 yards and 5 touchdowns
What a
in the
ball
football
game. Yeah.
4A, Cade Smith over at Harding Academy. Cade had an awesome game also. Let me look up here. I wrote it down. Maybe I didn't. I don't know I did. Here he is. 22-29, 329 yards, and 4 touchdowns.
Very nice.
5A, Joe Hyman. Let me tell you, this kid ran the ball 6 times, 200 yards, 4 touchdowns.
Carried it 6 times and scored on 4 of them.
4 of them. And ran for 200 yards.
33.3 yards per
Yes.
carry. Not a bad.
No. I'm going to tell you what else isn't bad. Is 6A, Sherman Rester from El Dorado. 13 for 18, 302 yards, 6 touchdowns. Oh, yeah. He also carried the ball 6 times for 109 yards with a 72-yard touchdown run.
Wow.
And then 7A from Bryant, the Hornets, Carson Burnett. Where's he at here on my paper? I know he's here close. There he is, 15 for 19, 293, 4 touchdowns, 5 carries, 20 yards.
So congratulations to those guys. We've been sending out shirts. We did not get to send those from last week out
Yet. We will tomorrow.
We will tomorrow. They'll get out tomorrow. So be on the lookout for your shirts, and congratulations on a Player of the Week.
Yes.
And so
That's it.
that's it.
That's all we got. We got 20 seconds till it hits an hour.
Week 9, man.
Yep.
Week 9. So,
It's hard to believe. It's wiping the tears.
All right, guys. Thank y'all for joining us. We'll check you next week.
Later on.